How's it, guys? Coral here. I'm doing this recording because tomorrow is a public holiday. So obviously you guys don't want to be or shouldn't be in class tomorrow evening. And secondly, I'm going in for an op tomorrow. I'm having some procedure done on my knee, and which means I won't be in the class tomorrow evening. I don't think I'll be in the state to be in the class tomorrow evening. So in any case, and time's running out for the second assignment, so we've decided that I'll do the recording. We'll talk. I should be out of hospital by Thursday, and I am planning to early next week do a Q&A session if there's need for that. I'll open time and I'll let you know, and then I'll be available if you need to ask me any questions or you want me to say anything further regarding this assignment. Before we look at 2, I'd like to look at assignment 1. Sorry about that jumping on the top. How many years of doing this, and sometimes our Blackboard just decides it's going to move. So that's feedback on assignment 1. Generally good. I was overall happy with the work I received. Most of the work on the around about the 60% mark, or the 60s, let me put it that way, in the 60s. A couple of 70s, 1 or 2 80s, and a couple of guys in the 50s. I don't think anybody went as low. There may be 1 or 2 that went as low as 50. But everybody generally, as far as I know, got a pass mark, at least a 50 plus. Referencing was exceptional. I'm used to, normally when I start this session, I have a big fight about, I spoke to you about referencing. Referencing was generally good. I don't think I had to subtract from anybody. There may be 1 or 2, but it's a large class, you 50 odd students in the 2 groups. And many had 2 or 3 pages of referencing, of references, which is exactly what one wants at this level. That's the type of reading. And yes, you don't necessarily read everything. You don't read the whole article. You read what you need to read. But and for that I personally do exactly the same. I use a program called SciSpace, SCI Space. That helps quite a bit. But yes, the fact that you've gone over those articles, it expands your knowledge so much. And it makes you understand what you don't know, which is more importantly to know rather than what you know. The writing styles, I can't complain. Mostly 95% solid academic writing. I would have made a comment if it's not, if your writing wasn't good. And please do me a favor, go into Blackboard, open the actual document. If you go on the left hand side in the black margin, go down to your marks, you can get your mark there. Click then on the actual document that you open and look at the comments. Some I would have made very few, but for some of you I would have made a couple of comments. There was plagiarism was fine. And on the plagiarism thing, remember the similarity checker kicks out a number. There was one that was like 56% or 54%. I thought, ooh. And went and looked, and all of that was in the references. And if it's just in your references, don't worry. The odd sentence being highlighted here or there, I'm not concerned about. It's when I get these blocks of text, and unfortunately, I did get a copying case or 2, which I have referred to for further action. But in general, all I can say is keep going the way you've done. In general, you've done really well. If you're unhappy, and there'll always be people that are unhappy with their mark, and I don't have a problem that you feel that your efforts haven't been rewarded, please feel free to ask for a remark. If you go into the student hub, in the top row, if I'm not mistaken, there's a thing that says assignment appeals. You click on that, complete it, submit it. In case you're concerned, it does not come back to me, it goes to somebody else. I typically don't even know who it goes to. They mark it and they make a call. Please just keep in mind, you have only 5 days to do this since yesterday when the marks were released, or early this morning. I'm not sure when they were released. And the mark can go down. So the mark that the person that does the remark gives is the final mark. So if they give you a couple of percentage less, that's the mark. If they give you a couple of percentage more, that's the mark. There's a fee to be paid, but as I understand it, you get that back if there's a significant move in the mark. I don't mind students doing that. Don't think, ooh, Carl's going to feel insulted. No, please go do that. If you're unhappy with your mark, and check it. I might be wrong. I'm only human. I'm not infallible. If I was wrong, here with my humble apologies. I mark it as I see it, and I can also get it wrong, especially with these essays that are really wide. Yeah, I might have missed something. So please feel free to refer it to somebody else, even just if it's for your own peace and peace of mind. Again, that's assignment 1. Let's move on to assignment 2. Okay, according to the PAS, I checked before the session, 10th of May, but please check the PAS. You know PASs can change. The 10th of May, that's 2 weeks from now. Friday will be a week. So there's not that much time. You need to get tracking. There's a big error there, 2259. It should be 2359. But work on 2259. It's safer, especially the one student, you know who you are, that I'm supervising. Please don't hand in 3 minutes before the time. You give me a heart attack every time. But guys, please realize there's a lot of people handing in. It's a busy time at the moment because there's lots of assessments taking place. So rather hand it in an hour or 2, or even the afternoon. You also still have to get it through safe science, do that earlier so that you know if there's a problem, you've got time to fix it. Once again, 1,500 to 2,000 words are very short. I had people go over the word count in the first assessment or assignment. I didn't penalize. This assignment onwards, we stop penalizing. There's a reason you need to learn how to write succinctly. This will help you when you start doing your research and writing up your research report. In general, shorter, more compact writing is better writing. If things go wrong, you can't submit or whatever, please remember I can't give you an extension. Therefore, take a screenshot immediately and immediately log a ticket. Log the ticket in that evening, that night when things go wrong. Don't wait until the next day, log a ticket. Email me the next morning and say, Carl, I had a problem, I logged the ticket, and I'll try to follow that up and see what I can do to help you. But at the moment, in that moment, I can't help you. I can't give you an extension. All of that lies with the hub, and they only react on those tickets. Referencing in text, reference list, direct quotes, all of that stuff, I'm not going to speak about it. Please check if I said to you this is wrong, please fix it. I didn't find the need to penalize anybody, although I don't think I don't think I did. There might be 1 or 2 that took 5% off. I can't recall. There's too many of you. But in general, the referencing was good. If I didn't address your referencing, you can assume that it was fine. Okay, so let's have a look at what does the second assignment hold for us. The second assignment addresses the whole idea of management in higher education and leadership in higher education. What is the distinction? So there's 3 parts: the concept of management and leadership in higher education, in the context of higher education. I did a whole session on that. What are the skills of leadership and management in general and specifically in higher education? And then the one big problem that we still have is the gender diversity in higher education. And I'm going to ask you, and if you don't want to, that's fine, you can go in a different route. Gender is a very contentious topic, and you can argue there are 2 genders, and you can argue there are many genders. I don't really care which way you argue and how you see it. However, in terms of this assignment, can we please stick to the 2 traditional, let's call them traditional genders? Feel free to move outside of it. It just makes it very difficult because this is not a sociology course about gender. This is the traditional way, and the way the act is unfortunately written, the various acts, there are 2 genders in those acts. So, although I don't deny that there can be many more genders, please can we stick to the 2 traditional genders for this. Once again, support your writing with proper academic texts. If you keep going with 2 pages of, or let me even say it as little as more than 1 page, you'll be on the right track. I think this assignment calls for something like 7. I think it's ridiculous. I think you should read much wider and much more, especially if you look at the three different, because these are three diverse answers. As I did the previous time, I've broken these down, and I'm going to talk you through what I think you should be covering in each of these. And I've also given a word count. Once again, please don't add up all the words, because you're going to get to more than the 2,000 words, simply because you've got to play with it. But this is simply how I thought you'd be able to get away with it. So firstly, management and leadership. What does D-Head say about management and leadership? What is management? What is leadership? According to them. And what are the roles of management and leadership? Then you need to construct your own opinion based, obviously, remember, we never say, I say this. We say, this is this, that source said that, that person said this, in this context, this has been found. And therefore, when I look at this, I think that the best definition would be the following. And then you need to show how yours agrees or disagrees with what D-Head says, and what other authors say in terms of, are you aligned? Is there a difference of opinion, and why is that difference there? And then how do we differentiate between management and leadership? And are there any improvements that you can suggest on how we can differentiate, if we should differentiate between those two concepts? The next part that you need to cover would be key skills. What are the skills that managers have, and what are the skills that leaders need to show? And how do these from the general, so there's a big trap that you've got to avoid here. If you go to management and leadership books, they're going to give you lots of skills, lots of things that we say traditionally what managers and leaders are. However, there's specific context within education, and within higher education more specifically, and you need to lift those nuances out. Be very careful of just going to a management textbook and working from that, because there's a different context as the readings that you've done already would show you, and there's a different context within higher education, and you need to show that context. Then the second part is identify and discuss the current characteristics of leaders and managers within higher education institutions. And then the last part, and this is the juicy part, and it works out that this is the fewest words because the other things are so, but this is the really interesting part. You need to suggest ways to remedy the lack of gender diversity. So here's a tip. Don't dwell too long on proving the gender diversity, or the lack of gender diversity. It's there, trust me. And especially at the management and leadership level. And that's something you can go look at the stats. On the lower levels, it's not that bad, but the moment you start getting to management and then through to leadership, then it starts looking really horrible. You've got the exceptions like UCT and so on, but in general, it doesn't look good. Don't dwell too long on proving that there's a problem with diversity. Throw a stat or two in there, but at this stage, I think it's accepted that there is a problem. So outline steps and processes that you would suggest. Look at leadership theory and what theory would be aligned with getting more females developed into management and leadership. And then see if you can throw in a credible example of a success story or two. You need to go read the actual, because this stuff is all pulled from the actual assignment. So go read the assignment instruction as well. The classic success story I get 9 times out of 10 is UCT. Try to avoid that. See if you can't find something else. See if there aren't any success stories in your organization that you can come up with. I've very dramatically named this a gift. There's 2 articles. The look at those two articles. I'm not saying use them, but those give you some idea of where we are at and what happens in academia. These are nice credible sources. They are slightly dated by now. And the sentence at the bottom there, at least 5 more sources, is more tongue in the cheek than anything else. You need many more. Okay, guys, that's what I have for you. I'll pop my email up on the screen again. Feel free to drop me an email. As I say, Wednesday, I'm going to graduation now. This is Tuesday, 10 o'clock. I'm off to graduation. Then I'll probably look at my emails late this afternoon, but in reality, I won't really be looking at emails before Friday again. So work on the assignment, see where you go, see what you have. Drop me an email and say to me, Carl, I don't understand this. And then early next week, as I say, probably Monday, but I will drop you an email. So look out over the weekend on your student email. Probably Monday evening, I'll give you an opportunity for a question and answer session. If anybody needs to actually physically ask me a question, I'll record that if I remember and then try to put that up as well. Anyways, good luck, guys. Given your previous assignment, I think you'll be fine here. But yeah, and if you need to ask me anything, please drop me an email. All the best, Chaz.